Christians have always talked about controversial things, always. So this has been true right after the Bible is written. This is true in the Bible. But you have to address those for the sake of conforming what our actual worldview is, which sometimes fits the Bible, sometimes doesn't, to the actual biblical worldview. Science is a very vast field with lots of sub-disciplines within it. There are many findings within each of those disciplines that would confirm the Christian worldview. Archaeology specifically, biology, things like biologists will talk about irreducible complexity, where you really can't explain how a particular part of a cell or an organism came to be. But I think we have to be honest too that there are findings in science that don't easily fit within the Christian worldview. So the issue here is really a methodological one. Science does contribute to our worldview. We don't want to be skeptics about science as Christians, but it's not the ultimate arbiter of truth like the modern mind thinks it is. The Bible, because it's God's word, is the immovable object around which science must conform, not the other way around. So Christians today are always going to have problems with the Bible, and it's always going to raise this question of how much apologetics do we do? How much of just sharing the gospel do we do? I started out on this side, lots of apologetics, deal with every objection, then we'll come to faith. The truth is, though, I didn't see a whole lot of fruit from that. The problem with humanity, according to the Bible, is not merely an intellectual problem. And that's why this stuff over here is only of limited value. Sometimes there are genuine seekers of the gospel that are not hard-hearted, that just want some of their questions answered. It's in those situations where this apologetics over here is helpful. But if it's a hard-hearted individuals like the Pharisees, as we see in the Gospels, and they just want to argue, you can have that conversation with them, but usually it's not going to persuade them. They just want to duke it out with you. I think the theme of our conversation is, how does science relate to the Christian worldview? On the one hand, I'd warn you away from being scared of science. Science has been wrong a ton, because at the bottom of science is that what is true is what works. If your hypothesis can explain the sort of repetition of this physical phenomenon, then it's considered true. The problem with that is it's obvious that multiple different plausible hypotheses can explain the same physical phenomenon. It's often difficult to adjudicate between which is right. So don't be scared of science. Science changes all the time. The Bible has proven true through the centuries, no matter what worldview was pressing on it. However, on the other hand, you won't want to have an undue skepticism about science. Science housed within a Christian worldview as a tool to understand the physical world and to promote human flourishing under the sort of banner of common grace. So I would say sort of stay in that middle ground. If you're a person that's afraid over here, don't be. But if you're the person over here that just thinks science is stinky and doesn't do anything for us, I would rethink that as well.